Well, I mean, I think any black person can never forget the era where we come from, the oppression, the segregation, even under the United Party government under General Smarts before 1948, and the taking over of the country by the National Party in 1948 when I was a young student at the university. I can never forget how traumatic that was, and of course, then the struggle in which I was already a participant in a way, because even my rustication from the university arose out of my activities as a member of the African National Congress Youth League, because we had a branch of that at the university. Well, I don't think that is, personally, that anyone could have done better than Mr. Mandela. This situation, we could have been a bloodbath in this country. I mean, what was achieved, I mean, they condemned, for instance, you know what, I was in his cabinet, and he hardly attended a meeting of the cabinet. Mr. Mbeki was running South Africa at that time, to the extent that Mr. Mandela himself used to joke and say that I'm just the de jure president of South Africa. The de facto president is Thabo Mbeki. He used to say that. But although it was a joke, it was true, in fact, because he did run what you call. And he was doing reconciliation. He was going to see Mrs. Betsy Verwoerd, having tea with them and so on, doing a work of reconciliation. I mean, they talk out of ignorance, because I don't think that any one of us would have done better myself than Mr. Mandela did. I am I'm very concerned with corruption myself, and I've always spoken about it. I've always said that, I would like anyone to point anything where I had responsibility. I ran the government of KwaZulu. It was a clean government. It received a smaller budget than all the other homelands on a per capita basis, because the government knew that I was against their policy. And even when, in '94, all these governments were supposed to return the money to Pretoria, I was the only one who returned money to Pretoria. And I was Minister of Home Affairs, and not a single thing of corruption took place. And in '94, for 10 years, with IFE premiers, Dr. Frank Mdlalose, Dr. Ben Gumane, Dr. Laurel Mchali, there was not a whiff of corruption during that time. And when we ran most of the municipalities, as IFP, there was no corruption. Now, so I've always been very, very sensitive about the issue of corruption, because even here in Parliament, I always, when the budget is actually put laid before us, I always say, even the presidential budget, I always say that I wish that every cent did what it's supposed to do, and not end up in some people's stomachs. I never abandon hope. I always say that people should not abandon hope, and that even if bad, even during the darkest days of apartheid, that is why I was vilified, because I did not support the armed struggle, because I still believe that there will be sufficient goodwill which will well up in all South Africans across the board for us to sit down and sort out differences through non-violent means. I believe that it's because I'm vilified because of that, because I always believe that. So I always say, if we could hope in the darkest days of apartheid as we did, there's no reason, even in these circumstances which are dire, that we should actually lose hope.